Hi guys, welcome back to Thrive in Recovery, a life coaching course designed for recovering addicts to get their power back through learning about physical exercise, making physical exercise goals, health goals, learning how to manage their emotions, learning how to use their mind to serve them, and how to follow their purpose in their everyday life, and also how to implement a spiritual connection in your everyday life. And this is what we've been doing for the last 4 weeks. This week we are in the physical health goal module, and we've gone through learning about exercise and the benefits of exercise in our recovery, and then creating a small exercise goal, which we did in the last video. Today we're just going to be going over nutrition in recovery. We're going to do it all in one. We're going to learn about the benefits of nutrition when you're recovering from addiction, and just learn a little bit more about what is nutrition, just the basic stuff, and then we're going to implement a new healthy habit at the end of the video. So we're going to get started with the video.
Most people don't think about diet when they enter treatment for addiction. They think about withdrawal. They think about counseling or group therapy. People in recovery talk about following the 12 steps and finding purpose in life. Eating a healthy, well-balanced diet is rarely mentioned. It's easy to overlook nutrition. Everyone knows they should eat more fruits and vegetables, but most people eat what makes them happy or what's quick and easy. That is until a doctor tells them that they are at risk for diabetes, heart disease, various cancers, and a host of other dietary-related diseases. The disease of addiction can contribute to poor nutrition or malnutrition. How substance abuse disrupts nutrition. The main side effect of an unhealthy diet is malnutrition, a condition caused by a lack of nutrients. Alcohol and other drugs deprive the body of its ability to absorb nutrients. Many people will substitute their drug of choice to relieve physical or emotional discomfort. When a person is using, it's hard to separate hunger cues from drug effects. The user's body can go into a state of malnutrition without even knowing it. Let's take chronic alcohol consumption as an example. Alcohol deprives the body of an important vitamin called thiamine. Every tissue in the body uses thiamine, including tissues in the brain, heart, liver, and kidneys. Without the vitamin, the tissues can't function properly. People with thiamine deficiency are more likely to experience dementia and Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. The syndrome is associated with a lack of coordination, vision problems, confusion, and memory loss. Chronic alcohol use also increases the risk of metabolic syndrome, which is associated with high blood sugar, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and too much body fat. Metabolic syndrome increases the risk of diabetes and heart disease. Opioids slow the way the body functions. Many people who take them feel sleepy. The drug also slows digestion and metabolism. That means the body isn't able to efficiently process nutrients from food. The most recognizable side effect of disrupted digestion is constipation. During opioid withdrawal, people often feel nauseated, vomit, and suffer from diarrhea. These symptoms can prevent food and water consumption at a time when the body needs fuel. Dramatic weight loss is the primary concern of people who chronically use stimulants, such as cocaine, methamphetamine, and prescription ADHD medications. Stimulant users are more likely to develop eating disorders, such as anorexia. People who go on cocaine or crystal meth benders may go days without eating or sleeping. When the bender ends, they're starved and they often binge eat. Additionally, crystal meth users often have problems with oral hygiene. They may be less likely or unable to consume solid foods because of missing teeth or pain while chewing. Substance use and eating disorders cause several similar side effects. On its own, each disorder deprives the body of nutrients. When addiction and eating disorders co-occur, the impact on the body can be devastating. Nutrients are divided into two categories, macronutrients and micronutrients. The body needs macronutrients such as carbohydrates, fats, protein, and water. Humans require low amounts of micronutrients such as vitamins and minerals. Even though we don't need a lot of micronutrients, inadequate vitamin or mineral levels can cause devastating side effects. Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome is caused by a lack of thiamine, which is vitamin B1. Low levels of iron, folate, or B vitamins can cause symptoms that mimic those of depression, fatigue, and sleep problems. Healthy sources of vitamins and minerals include whole grain bread or cereal, beans, peas, peanuts, seeds, fruits, and vegetables. Adding vitamin-rich foods to your daily diet helps keep your body healthy and functioning normally. The body gets most of its energy from carbohydrates. Without carbs, several parts of the body struggle to function and blood sugar levels fluctuate. These disruptions cause feelings of fogginess, irritability, depression, and anxiety. Healthy sources of carbohydrates include whole grain breads and cereal, whole fruit, potatoes, vegetables, beans, and nuts. Diets low in carbs can disrupt sleep patterns and cause cravings. Cravings for carbs can be mistaken for drug cravings. Fiber is a unique type of carbohydrate. Unlike other carbs, fiber isn't converted to energy. Fiber passes through the body without being digested. Fiber is food for the bacteria in your gut, constituting your microbiome. Healthy sources of fiber include oatmeal, nuts, beans, wheat bread, brown rice, apples, carrots, and tomatoes. Meat contains no fiber. Diets low in fiber can increase the risk of high blood sugar, cholesterol problems, and constipation. Proteins and many hormones are made from amino acids. Hormones are chemicals that regulate mood. Low hormone levels generate feelings of sadness, anger, and anxiety. Healthy sources of protein include green peas, peanut butter, lentils, walnuts, and beans. Proteins also boost the body's immune system, which fights diseases and infections. Most addictive substances weaken the body's immune system. Americans know they need to reduce the amount of fat in their diets, but not all fat is bad. Moderate amounts of healthy fat can boost mood and help cells throughout the body function. It's also a reserve source of energy that the body uses when it runs out of carbohydrates. Healthy sources of fat include sunflower seeds, dark chocolate, pine nuts, tofu, and olives. A diet that includes too much unhealthy fat found in meat products can lead to obesity and a range of health problems. Water is essential to health. It protects internal parts of the body, lubricates joints, and helps the body use other nutrients. The liver and kidneys need water to function, and water can prevent constipation. Healthy sources of hydration include water, watermelon, strawberries, cucumbers, and soup. Drinking water is a staple of a healthy diet. Dehydration can cause irritability, dizziness, confusion, and fever. Alcohol can cause dehydration. Alcohol itself tells your kidneys to make more urine than normal. Alcohol is a diuretic, which means it causes the body to pass more liquid through urination. Counseling and therapy are key components in addiction treatment programs. Therapy can teach an addict in recovery healthy ways to cope with difficult emotions and behaviors. But here's the thing. It's hard for a malnourished brain to learn. If the brain is not working, coping skills are going to go in one ear and out the other. For more information regarding the subject of addiction, please contact the Institute for Addiction Study. Our link is in the description.
Alright guys, so hopefully you gain something from that. Ultimately, it's that our diet plays a huge role in how we're feeling, and during our addiction, we completely mess it up. That's the nutshell version. The message at the end about therapy, and that was a pretty good message about how the therapy isn't going to work, and your coping skills aren't going to be processed properly if your mind isn't in a condition to process it. And one important way to get it into that condition is to feed it the proper fuel. So here's some notes. This is just one of many videos that you can find online that talk about the benefits of proper nutrition. I felt like this was one of the more appropriate ones for recovery module. When you are just getting into nutrition, there is a lot to learn, and we're just going to go over the basics in this classroom, in this video. As a recovering addict, we want to improve our mood and stabilize our emotions as best as possible so we feel good as often as possible. That's the main goal of all this stuff, is that we're feeling good, we're filled with life, we're happy, our mind's working good, our body's working good. And no, I'm not a licensed nutritionist or dietitian. This is open resource data that I'm going over. So we're going to get into macronutrients and their functions. So macronutrients are carbohydrates, which are an energy source. Carbohydrates are the body's primary source of energy, fueling daily activities and brain function. The body breaks down carbs into glucose, which is used immediately or stored as glycogen for later use. Maintaining a balanced intake of carbohydrates helps sustain energy levels and prevent fatigue. And there's different types. There's simple carbs and complex carbs. Simple carbs is a quick energy source found in foods like fruits, table sugar, and processed items. They are digested rapidly. Complex carbs are found in whole grains, legumes, vegetables, and provide sustained energy as they take longer to break down. Complex carbs also offer additional nutrients and fiber, promoting better digestive health and blood sugar stability. So here's examples. Simple carbs, basically, you want to stay away from as much as possible. And this looks like candy, soda, fruit juices, baked goods made with refined sugar. And like a lot of people think the fruit juices are healthy, and some may be, but most of them are just a bunch of sugar without the rest of the fruit. We say whole foods because it's the whole piece of food, right? So like when you eat a fruit like an apple, for example, you want to eat the skin because it has fiber and other stuff inside of it that helps your system. But when it's just the raw juice by itself, it's actually just a bunch of sugar, and it's not super good for you. Complex carbs, so these are the ones that you want to start incorporating into your diet more. Brown rice, oats, quinoa, sweet potatoes, whole grain bread. Including a mix of healthy complex carbs and a mindful intake of simple carbs helps maintain balanced nutrition. So it doesn't mean you can't ever eat simple carbs, but be mindful about it. Be conscious about how much you're eating and how often. The next macronutrient are proteins. Proteins are essential for muscle repair and growth after physical activity or injury. It supports the immune system by creating antibodies and repairing body tissue. And it is vital for cellular functions and overall health maintenance. You've got plant-based proteins and animal-based proteins. Plant-based looks like lentils, beans, tofu, quinoa, chickpeas. Animal-based looks like beef, pork, chicken, fish, eggs, dairy products. And a balanced intake of both sources can support diverse nutritional needs. What you can't get from beef, pork, chicken, that kind of stuff, you could get from lentils, beans, quinoa, tofu. And what you can't get from those, you could get from the meat and the dairy products. Next one is fats. Importance of healthy fats, omega-3s, and unsaturated fats. Healthy fats support brain function, hormone production, and overall cell health. Omega-3 fatty acids reduce inflammation and promote heart health. Unsaturated fats help maintain good cholesterol levels and reduce the risk of heart disease. Foods with fat to include and avoid. So include avocados, olive oil, nuts, seeds, fatty fish like salmon. Avoid trans fat and highly processed foods such as fried snacks and margarine. Prioritize sources of healthy fats for balanced nutrition and overall well-being. Now we're going to get into micronutrients. Micronutrients are vitamins and minerals that play critical roles in maintaining bodily functions. They are essential for supporting immune function, energy production, bone health, and deficiencies in micronutrients can lead to health issues such as fatigue, weakened immunity, and poor bone density. So you feel tired, you feel your body's weaker, you're getting sick more. Foods to include for micronutrients. So include leafy greens, fruits, whole grains, nuts, seeds, lean proteins. Avoid highly processed foods that often lack essential vitamins and minerals. And you'll see this pop up often in this module. Highly processed foods, that's what you want to start eliminating from your diet if you want to feel good. A varied diet ensures a sufficient intake of vital micronutrients for optimal health. So, whole foods versus processed foods. Hopefully I'm not flying through this, but the point, you'll see the point. The point is basically, what are the foods, what are micronutrients, why are they good for us, and what foods can I eat to get more of the good stuff. So whole foods, characteristics and examples. Whole foods are minimally processed and retain most of their natural nutrients, right? So the less processed it is, the more of their natural nutrients you're going to get. Examples include fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, lean proteins, chicken, fish, and whole grains like brown rice, oats. And these are just a handful of examples. There's all kinds of whole foods. Eating whole foods supports sustained energy, better digestion, and overall health, and you will feel better than if you weren't doing it. Processed foods, concerns and effects. Processed foods often contain added sugars, unhealthy fats, and artificial ingredients that can reduce nutritional value. These foods can cause energy crashes and negatively impact mental clarity and mood. So these foods play a role on the state of your mind and your emotion and how you're feeling. Regular consumption may contribute to weight gain and increased risk of chronic diseases. And there's all kinds of chronic diseases that pop up out of a bad diet. So now we're going to get into water. Why hydration matters. It supports digestion, energy levels, and skin health. It is essential for nutrient transport and maintaining body temperature. And it prevents fatigue and helps cognitive function. The daily recommendations is aim for 8 to 10 cups of water daily, and you increase that with physical activity or if it's hot outside. Listen to your body's thirst signals as a guide. Tips for staying hydrated. You could carry a reusable water bottle throughout the day, like a tumbler or something like that. You could set reminders on your phone, maybe an alarm that goes off every hour that reminds you to drink some water. You can make your water taste better by infusing it with fruits like lemon or cucumber for a refreshing boost. And this is different than the artificial packets of crap that we like to infuse it with. This is healthier. So now we're going to get into a healthy plate. So in the West, this is the medical standard that I found online for what a healthy plate should look like. And this is a plate that is for all meals of the day. So it looks like this. It looks like a quarter of your proteins, right? Whether that's beans, eggs, cheese, chicken, fish. You could also add some other proteins in there like beef and pork. And you want it to fill about a quarter of the plate. Meaning you want it to be about a quarter of the size of your meal. So if you got all your stuff together, the protein takes about a quarter of it. And obviously this isn't for if you're trying to gain muscle. This is just for a balanced diet. Then you get your grains and starches. So you got your potatoes, your vegetables, your peas, your corn, your brown rice, your white rice, your bread. And then that's a quarter of your plate. And then the second half of your plate is vegetables, right? And usually the vegetables are about an eighth of the plate, right? But if we incorporate more of this, we will feel better. And that's where you get your cucumbers, your carrots, your tomatoes, broccoli, asparagus, cauliflower, all kinds of stuff. So that's a rough idea for what you want your plate to look like. Quarter protein, quarter carb, and starch and grain, and then half plate of vegetables. Now here's things to keep in mind. When you are just getting into nutrition, there is a lot to learn. Thankfully, we have so many resources online to educate ourselves. You're not going to know everything at once. You may be eating something right now that you think is good for you and it's not. And you may not discover that until a few months into your journey of healthy eating. Nutrition knowledge will grow as you learn along your way. Just as you learn and you grow, so will your knowledge. When you buy your food, look up what's in it. Look up if it's good for you. When you're looking at a food label, it tells you the macronutrients right off the bat. It tells you how much stuff is in it also to see how processed it is. So it'll give you your fats, your proteins. It'll even tell you if it's saturated fats or trans fats. Start reading your labels. That should be a habit for everything you buy. You got to remember what you put in your body becomes your body, right? It becomes the things needed to break down your neurotransmitters and transport nutrients and do all this stuff. You can't do it if you're just filling it up with crap all the time. You'll function like crap. It's that saying, you are what you eat. Start getting familiar with what you're putting in your body. Ultimately, start paying attention and be more conscious about what you're doing to yourself, how you're treating your body. Are you giving it the fuel it needs, or are you just eating whatever the fuck you want because it tastes good, right? Replacing bad habits with good habits. The mind is always looking to make things easier and faster for us. This is how habits are created. Your mind will resist anything that is really difficult. In creating a new habit that sticks, we need to start with something simple and easy for us to implement. Again, the 4 key elements to creating a new habit is motivation, trigger, repetition, and reward. So what we're doing is an if-then plan. So grab your journals. I've got mine right here. I'll do this with you guys. Research has found that if-then plans are an effective strategy to turn goals into action. So the first step would be explaining the purpose and structure of the plan. The second step would be stating the intention, which is why is this important for you. And the third step would be the plan, the details of it, when, where, and how. For example, here's the if-then plan. During the next week, I will partake in at least 30 minutes of vigorous exercise on this day, at this time of day, at or in this place. If I eat chocolate for an afternoon snack, then I'll stop at the supermarket on the way home and buy vegetables for dinner. If I haven't slept well for 2 nights running, then I will have a quiet evening in with a laptop off by 8 p.m. and will go to bed early at 10 p.m. Here's some more examples. If I eat chocolate for an afternoon snack, then I'll stop at the supermarket on the way home and buy some vegetables for dinner. If I drink, so these are ones that I would write down. So let's just think of our first nutritional goal, right? I'll do a couple with you. So I want to incorporate more water into my diet. I want to drink more water. So one of mine would be, if I drink an energy drink today, then I will balance it out by drinking 2 glasses of water by the time I go to bed. And first, write the first plan, right? I plan to drink 8 to 10 cups of water each day for 1 week. So maybe yours is, I plan to eat more vegetables in each meal for this week. Or maybe it's, I plan to get rid of the chips at nighttime at least 3 days of the week. So write down what your plan is first. Things to think about is, how much protein are you getting in your meal? How many healthy carbs are you getting in your meal? How many fruits and vegetables are you getting in your meal? In the morning, if it's all just, eggs and bacon and toast, where's the vegetables in that? So maybe you could add kind of vegetables in that in the morning. Or maybe you could add a healthy whole grain, like a bowl of oatmeal. Or you could add some fresh fruit. That goes with breakfast pretty well. So then the plan would be, I plan to add fruit or vegetables to my breakfast every day this week. Or maybe just 3 days out of this week. So you write your plan down. Now we're going to do the if then. If you're adding vegetables to your breakfast, it would be, if I miss a morning to add vegetables or fruit, then I will eat vegetables and fruit sometime throughout the day. Vegetables or fruit. I will eat a vegetable or fruit sometime throughout the day. A veggie or fruit. And this is one I feel like I could be doing more. I have some vegetables at nighttime, but I should start incorporating it in my lunch. If I don't, then I should just eat some anyways throughout the day. And could add one more like this. If I snack on junk food one day at work, then the next day I need to bring something healthy to snack on. So that's a great one. This is holiday season when I'm making this, so I've been eating a piece of pie every night, okay? And I need to start, if I'm going to do that, I need to start eating something better during the day to balance that out. So maybe like a bowl of oatmeal for breakfast would be a good way to balance that out. So if I have pie at night, then the next morning I'll have oatmeal. So yeah, hopefully you've journaled at least 2 if-then plans, and hopefully they're simple, and hopefully they're doable. Now the real work comes in when you start following through these plans. And then you start seeing progress, and you start feeling better, and you start feeling better about yourself, but you also physically start to feel better. So if you want to put more time into this and you want to really make some if-then plans for your nutritional habits, go ahead and journal them down. Don't get too crazy, just keep them simple. Like, it could be just incorporating you getting proper water intake throughout the day will be a huge game changer. If you start doing that every day for the next few months, you'll see the difference of how you feel, how you think. If you just start adding vegetables or fruit to your morning routine, you'll see the change over a few months. Or you could, instead of adding all this stuff, maybe there's just one thing that you could eliminate. Right? Maybe there's just one really like crappy food eating decision that you've been struggling with. And what you could do is turn that into a better snack. Like if you still want a snack when you watch Netflix at night or watch whatever app you're watching at night, and you want a snack, maybe eat a little bit less first. Just have a little bit less and do that for a few days of the week. And then eventually you could get to the point where you're swapping that snack out for a healthy snack. It's called habit swapping, I believe. And then a healthier snack, and a healthier snack until, maybe you're eating like some healthy nut mix or, something like that for a snack. And you're actually giving your body the proper stuff that it needs. So you're fueling it properly. So go slow. This is just the beginning. This video is just to get the wheels turning, get it started. The real learning curve with this comes with trial and error, learning what feels good for you, and learning from online, all the resources we have online. So as always, celebrate yourself throughout this process. It is important. You're taking the time to invest in yourself, and you will gain the positive changes in your life, and so will your loved ones. Keep in mind your diet plays a huge role in how you feel, and start incorporating these new habits that you're developing and follow them through. And remember to take your time as always. Recovery is not a race, it's a lifelong journey. And I'll see you in the next video and in the community.